is what I'm fucking talking about. That made me feel so much better. JoJo's back. Holy crap. Okay, full disclosure, I've seen all of the 2012 series. I'm caught up to part 1, part 2, part 3. I actually have also I have also seen the OVA series that follows the Stardust Crusader line. I'm missing a couple of them. They're lost in the garage somewhere from when I moved. But so I kind of already knew what was going to happen in the first episode of this new JoJo Part 3. That doesn't make it any more or less like exciting though, because I was never much of a fan of the OVAs because I felt like they took themselves so freaking seriously. The material itself, you can tell the material is so stupidly ludicrous and over the top, but they approach it with like it's a serious, grim story to be told. It's a lot like it's like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. They're about there's a guy in a rhino suit running around trying to trample somebody with radioactive spider powers, and yet the movies take them really seriously. That's why I don't like those movies. Same, the OVA with JoJo took it way too seriously. Also, the art always kind of was wonky to me in those. But granted, they're OVAs. I don't expect them to be fantastic. But holy crap! Like this episode, Stardust Crusaders, like the new part that's just started now. There was more. Holy crap! Do they have a budget? They've got money, and I'm glad because there was more like animation and things going on in this than there was in all of the OVA going on. I realize money isn't everything, the budget isn't everything. I'm just saying that there's a noticeable difference, even with part 1 and part 2 of the 2012 series. Those had decent animation too, but there were some times where it was a little iffy, when characters wouldn't move quite right, or just little parts. Honestly, that's just nitpicking, but I mean, it's still a substantial upgrade from part 1, part 2. That's what I'm getting across here. And it's amazing the difference that it can make, just getting a different director, because the OVA and Stardust Crusader that going on now, in part 3, it's the same storyline, but watching them back to back, it's a completely different thing. It's amazing what a different impact it can have on an audience when it's actually it's different director, different screenwriters, and a different studio. But even just like a different director would be enough. I should say that I didn't expect there to be an opening and an ending to this because it's the first episode, and a lot of first episodes of shows don't have an opening and ending. But I'm really looking forward to finding out what the new opening is going to be, and I hope that they still keep Roundabout by Yes to be the ending. They probably won't, but I would really like it if they did. I don't have too much else to say about JoJo. It's the same delightful, over-the-top silliness that we come to expect from this series. If you are not watching JoJo right now, you don't have much of an excuse anymore because Crunchyroll just added the part 1 and part 2 of this series on there. It's available for streaming. So what are you even doing? It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. Looking forward to more. The other one I watched was Captain Earth. This one I had no knowledge of whatsoever. I just know that I saw like the poster for it. I saw a robot, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I'm not kidding you. I was watching it, and they're establishing the main character, the little boy, and he's having a little bit of a monologue in his head, as anime characters tend to do, and they're berating him because his grades are slipping. And they're saying, you're just messing around on your computer, you're not actually studying. In his head he goes, I'm on the internet studying things that interest me personally. So why, and he's questioning, why is it messing around when it's something he's interested in? But it's only studying if it's something they want. So that was really interesting, and that was like the 2-minute mark. In 2 minutes, Captain Earth was more interesting than... I'm running out of room. In 2 minutes, Captain Earth was more interesting than in like the full 20 minutes of the sumo wrestler or Blade Soul or anything like that. They threw around a lot of techno jargon kind of at the end, and not a lot of it's been explained, but it feels very grand. It feels very big. So I appreciate that. So it's still effective, because you can tell that they're building to something much larger, and we're gonna learn. We're gonna understand. They keep it very character based. I was surprised. This kid, you know, who's lost his dad, but and everyone kind of admires him for it. You know, like, oh, you should be so proud of your dad, and rah rah. But you get the feeling that he doesn't get any actual empathy from people, because they don't seem to really understand that he no longer has a dad. If they look at it as something like it's something to be proud of, and you know, it's understandable that, you know, you could feel that way, but it seems that no one really understands the fact of the matter is that this kid doesn't have a dad anymore, and that's very frustrating for him. At the same time, though, he's not like a super pouty, pissed off. He's not a Naruto character. He's not a super pissed off brat either. In fact, through flashbacks, we learn about a very early relationship he established very early on, and I think that made a big impact on him not turning into a huge brat. I think that and we're probably going to learn more about that later, but it's just my theory. I get the feeling that that's a big determining factor in his character. I'm very I honestly can't say too much without spoiling it. So I say check out Captain Earth. It was very, very interesting. A lot of good character work, and it looks nice too. Visually, it is very nice to look at. But really, it's what I was hearing and what the characters were doing that was way more engrossing, again, than anything that happened in Blade and Soul, Sumo Wrestler, whatever, the art assistant. So, already feeling much better about the anime season. I'm told that I just jumped in on the wrong stuff first, which I hope is right, because then that means that if that's the worst of it, if I've got the worst of it out of the way now, then there's nowhere to go but up.